Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for scaring my sister-in-law with a cardboard cutout of The Rock? My 32F sister-in-law, 43F, is super nosy. It's come up before, but she's one of those people that will just deny something to the death, no matter how much proof you have, and then get angry at you for not believing her. At my house, the guest bathroom is partially shared with the master bedroom. The toilet and sink are separate for guests, and then through a door you can get to the shower, our closets, and another sink. Then through an additional door is the bedroom. If that makes any sense. Basically, you can get into our bedroom through the bathroom without going through the main door. So, when she comes over, she would sometimes take just a bit too long in the bathroom. During maybe the 3 road or 40h time, I happened to be walking by the bathroom and heard 2 doors close. I asked her if she was looking for something in the bedroom, and if I could help her find it. She replied with no. Why would I go in your bedroom? And then changed the subject. The next time she was going to come over, I said something small behind the bedroom door, so I could see if it had been opened by the small item being pushed back. Later, I could see that it had been. So, for me, confirming that she had been snooping again, I asked directly if she'd been in our bedroom, and she said something like, "I don't care what's in your bedroom. Get over yourself." So yesterday, sister-in-law and brother-in-law came over, but before that, I ordered a full-size cutout of Dwayne Johnson, which I placed in our bedroom, facing the bathroom door. About an hour into the visit, she heads into the bathroom. Very shortly after, there's a scream, or thud, and a door slam. She came out, clearly angry. She'd been quite startled and slammed her upper arm into the door frame while turning away from the cutout. Brother-in-law made it worse by asking, "Well, why were you in their bedroom?" But she didn't answer, and they left. She's posted on Facebook that she has a big bruise on her arm as a result of my nasty prank. People are saying she could have been hurt worse, and that she's too old to be the victim of a childish prank. I feel badly that she was hurt. It wasn't my intention, but I might be the asshole because I still think it was hilarious. She caught a whiff of what The Rock was cooking. She shouldn't be in your bedroom. She wouldn't have noticed it if she hadn't been snooping. Her own activities are to blame for the damaged arm. I consider it to be my due. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. NTA, it was hilarious. Hey, you had 2 break-ins to your bedroom, so you got The Rock to provide security. He caught the offender. End of problem. Brilliant. Years ago, I shared a house with a couple other girls. We had a life-sized stand-up with Fabio, who we dressed in an apron with a houseboy name tag. In the entryway, he startled people who came to the door, which was pretty amusing. Not the a-hole, NTA. And I'm just petty enough to reply on her post, "I'm so sorry that you were hurt and startled unintentionally. I didn't think to warn you about the cutout as I had it stored out of the way in my bedroom." Then let her friends put the pieces together. I wouldn't have thought it was a problem given that you never go in my bedroom. Of course. Apostrophe. NTA, and honestly, kind of hilarious. Am I the antagonist for embarrassing my wife? I have 2 twins, Costella and Freya, with my ex-wife. My ex-wife Mariana and I were married for a long time. We divorced a while ago, and I remarried 2 years ago. My wife Ava does not like my ex. I told her from the beginning me and my ex-wife are not rivals. We are co-parents and civil and regardless their mom. My parents like her a lot. Mariana was diagnosed with cancer last year. Her head is shaved as she is still on chemo, and my parents have been helping her with herself and the kids often. They are my kids' grandparents, and I don't see why I have to shun Mariana out of everyone. She's been around since grade school. I don't talk to her aside from the kids. She doesn't come to family gatherings or anything. There's many things Ava doesn't like about this, especially our custody agreement. Here's the issue. My kids came to me really upset, and they showed me a bunch of posts that Ava made about Mariana. Ava for the past months has been writing posts about Mariana. She's taken a picture of her from her profiles. One of her in a wig, After she shaved her hair saying take off the effing wig, another picture of Mariana with no wig on saying that's better BTCH. She took another one of wag Mariana posted of her and the kids on their birthdays saying so happy to see my babies getting so big, to which Ava posted saying yeah you're still dying though, these got worse. Even people Ava was friends with were posting about Mariana and our kids. My kids are upset. We all sat down and she tried saying that Mariana was messaging her saying way worse stuff. I asked her to show me, but she said that it's on Snapchat and they are gone. It was confirmed that Mariana doesn't even have Snapchat. I told Ava that she needed to go for a little while me and my kids talked. They said that they found her on Instagram and this has been happening since she's got cancer based on how long she's been posting these. They were obviously hurt. They said that they wanted to go to their moms for a little while and this made them extremely uncomfortable with her, which was understandable. Me and Mariana talked. Apparently she's seen this, but didn't bring it up because she wasn't in the mood to cause any drama. Me and Ava talked. I told her that she's going to publicly apologize to Mariana and my kids since everything was made public. Apologize to Mariana through text and my kids in person. I left for a bit to think. All of this embarrassed Ava greatly. I'm getting messages from people saying that I'm an asshole and I made her do all of that and didn't even forgive her and humiliated her. I think that it's odd to accuse me of that. There's a line between caring about someone's well-being and being secretly in love with them, and if I was highly doubt I would be divorced and married for this long. And I feel like embarrassment was deserved. I hate to say it, but this just made me disgusted. Ava greatly humiliated herself. NTA. You should know everything there is to know about her character from the fact that she considers doing something that any rational, nice, good human being would do on their own without being asked is some sort of shame. Comment by team member Charlie. Now for the top comments. NTA. Honestly, this is grounds for divorce. What she did is awful and absolutely disgusting. I hope your ex recovers and I wish you and your children well. This is grounds for divorce. I think this might be too, and all of this is gut wrenching, and it's a worry that she will be saying things to my kids directly as well, and I've just been stupidly blind to all of it. Info: why are you still married to a woman who would mock the mother of your children as she's battling cancer? Surely there were red flags before this. She's expressed that she didn't like Mariana, but I've never even heard her insult her until now. So she was keeping it kind with me and taking her anger out when I wasn't around, which means that this isn't the first time any of this has happened, and she am 99,999% sure has attacked Mariana and probably my kids when I wasn't looking. I think I'm going to try and see if me, my kids and Mariana can sit down and find out everything that was going on. Like some people and most will probably say, it's not fair to anyone to keep enabling this. I was blind to everything that was going on, and I take accountability for that. Let your kids know you have their backs, and then prove it. I bet the hatred Ava has for Marina extends to Marina's children. Am I the antagonist for touching my belly? I'm genuinely confused if I'm the R or not. I appreciate your feedback. Background: I'm currently in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy and I'm due this fall. My sister and her husband have 2 girls and decided they were done having children a few years ago, so she got an IUD and he got a vasectomy. Well, last year they had a reversal and a removal because they decided they wanted more kids. Now on to the issue at hand. I found out I was pregnant quite a while ago, and since the day my sister found out about my pregnancy she has refused to talk to me or be where I am. This was until Mother's Day. She showed up and ignored me. Since then my mother has told me not to bring up my baby, my pregnancy, or anything related. My mom thinks that me ignoring my pregnancy is for the best when I'm around everyone, to not hurt her feelings. A couple days ago we were all at my parents' house and I got a really strong kick to the ribs and I reached down and rubbed my belly to ease the cramp. While doing so my sister made a face and continued her conversation with her husband. My mother on the other hand started to scold me for rubbing my pregnancy in my sister's face. Since this happened I have been shushed and ignored by my mom when it is anything pregnancy related. I'm tired of my baby being avoided like the plague. No one even cared to ask what we plan on naming her. Him to the point tears while writing this with frustration and confusion. Am I the antagonist for touching my belly? I wouldn't bother informing them of the birth of the baby. They are engaging in some real next level petty stuff here. You are not Tar. Your mother and sister are. I wish you a peaceful remainder of your pregnancy and that they soon realize their error. Comment by team member Taylor. Now for the top comments. So your sister, who already has 2 kids, chose to utilize a long-term method of birth control, whose husband chose to get a vasectomy, and has now magically changed her mind about wanting more kids, is offended that you're pregnant, and is so offended that you merely rubbing your pregnant belly to help relieve pain from a kicking baby sets her off. I honestly have no words for this. She and your mom both need to get over themselves. NTA. I would think that she would want to be around the sister more often. It's kinda an old wives' tale, but there is this idea that women get pregnant at the same time. On the news you will see like a whole shift of nurses who are all pregnant at the same time, or a whole grade of teachers from time to time. If I was trying for a baby and my sister got pregnant, I would think, oh, me next. I might feel different if the sister was on her 3rd pregnancy all while I was trying to have just one, but still. NTA. Your family is toxic. If they are treating you like this while pregnant, imagine how they'll treat your baby. Don't let them grow up believing that their family hates them for no reason. It's not your fault your sister is sensitive. I want to know what name you're thinking of if you're willing to tell me. Thank you. My husband and I decided on the name Taylor. I already decided not to allow them to visit after she's born. Am I the antagonist for not letting my child go to church? My son was at a sleepover last night. The other boy's mom called me this morning to ask if my son could go to church with them this morning instead of them dropping him off here as originally planned. I firmly but politely said no. She said he was interested in going and they were running late, so skipping drop-off would help him get there on time. I said I could pick him up, but she said that would delay them further because they'd need to wait for me to drive out there before they left. I reiterated that under no circumstances was my son going to church with them. She got offended and said she'd let her son go to the mosque with us. I said that was her prerogative, but I wasn't her. She was upset when she hung up. I texted my son and he said they're on their way to our house. Now that the heat of the moment has passed, I wonder if I was rude to her. Was there a better way to handle the situation? Boundaries must be respected by everyone. You have the right to decide not to expose your youngster to other religions. She is bringing her child up in her own way. When her child reaches adulthood and decides he wants to learn about other religions, she and the child will have a talk about it. Comment by team member Shannon. Now for the top comments. NTA. Them running late is not your fault, and it's fine for you to insist on the original arrangement on something as important to your family as religious practices. The key phrase is that they already had an arrangement ahead of time and the person sprung it on them at the last second and was not part of the plan. If however they had discussed it ahead of time and op said it was fine, then it's all good. Plans can change under different circumstances. That's however not what happened, and the person didn't follow the pre-planned arrangement. I don't see how people are defending the person that changed the plans at the literal last second, seeing as how they were gonna be late. NTA. You have every right to say no to someone shoving their religion at your child, particularly in a sneak attack like that. I would have been furious. Also makes me wonder if the son was interested, or if it was what the mom said, so she could go tell the son his mom said he can go edit. For specific clarification purpose, when I said he can go, I mean that friend's mom would mention this to pressure or persuade, however you look at it, kiddo, into agreeing to go. Am I the antagonist for shaving my head to prove a point to my husband? My 25F husband, 30 male, who we will call Kevin, have been married for 2 years and been together for 4. Throughout our relationship we've never had a fight or even broken up. As far as I know, everything between us has been great. However, one day we got into the conversation of me getting a pixie cut. The whole relationship with my husband, my hair has always been shoulder length. It's never been longer or shorter than that. Kevin told me he doesn't want me to cut my hair that short, but if I wanted to change up my look, I should grow it out instead. However, my hair is super thick and super hard to manage when long, to the point of me refusing to grow out my hair past my shoulders. I told him that I wanna cut it short because it's becoming such a chore to manage during the summertime. My husband argues that since he has to see it all the time, he should have a say on what I have as a hairstyle. Then I told him that it's my hair and I can do what I want with it. Plus it's just hair, but my husband won't budge and just kept trying to convince me to grow out my hair. I eventually got fed up with him and drove to the salon and told the hairdresser to shave off my entire hair. When I got home that day, my husband looked visibly upset and began to ignore me. At bedtime he told me that I should have took his opinions into consideration instead of cutting my hair impulsively. Am I the asshole for shaving my head to prove a point? Edit. I love my buzz cut. It makes me feel empowered, and while it was an impulsive decision, I truly do love my buzzed hair. Update. I showed my husband this post and he seemed to understand where I'm coming from. The buzz cut is slowly growing on him, and even calls me his little G.I. Jane, which is kinda cute. Since I'm in the military, he also understands now that while he's entitled to his opinion, he really doesn't have a say to what I do with my body. He says as long as I'm not harming myself or others, I should be able to do what I want with my body. We talked it out, and he and I are okay now. Peace. When I said we don't fight, I mean like screaming matches and sleeping on the couch kind of fight. We've bickered and had disagreements, but never to the point of being so angry with each other that we sleep in separate rooms. Hope that clears it out. PSS. My hair is super straight and super thick, in case y'all were wondering. Think Asian hair or native hair. Super straight and thick. And black. I can see my neighbor's house every time I peek out the window. Do I also get to choose the color they use for it just because I see it every day? It's your hair. NTA. Just be aware that thick hair cut short does not necessarily make it easier to manage. Comment by team member Jordan. Now for the top comments. While I understand the ESH responses, I'll go with not the a-hole simply because I don't agree with, since he has to see it all the time. He should have a say on what I have as a hairstyle. He can have a preference, sure, but in the end you get the final say. But now you get to deal with the consequences, and hopefully he'll get the point you were trying to make, and y'all can move forward. My boyfriend of several years also thought he should have a say in how long my hair should be. In high school, my hair was down the middle of my back, and I was always braiding it to keep it out of the way. I had pixie cuts alright up till about 8th grade, but long straight hair was in, so I grew it out, and it was long all through high school. My hair is thick and frizz/curly. And frizzy is really what long hair brought out, and time consuming. After graduating, I chopped it all off, because I really hate messing with hair. Some people enjoy this, even my own girls. It was just too time consuming. Well anyway, that was what he got for thinking my hair, and I'll manage it just the way I want, because, well, it is my hair. But of course, I do want him to keep his facial hair neatly trimmed. So there's that lol. When I was 21, my hair was down my back. I hated it. It was so thick it broke every brush. I'd been talking about cutting it, and my boyfriend was offended, as if my hair was all I was. Welp. Went to visit my sister out of town and she did it. She helped me cut it all off. I felt amazing. So liberated and happy, and turns out, short hair looked far better on me. When I went home, he refused to speak to me for a week. Afterwards he said he just couldn't look at me. It made him sick. That was the day I stopped caring what anyone thought. Been growing and cutting my hair for 3 decades since. It's never been longer than just above shoulders. It's usually shaved. Screw anyone who thinks their opinion matters. NTA. It's your hair and your head, not his. He's allowed to not like your haircuts, but he's not allowed to decide what haircuts you get. NTA. It's your hair. I'm a woman who keeps my hair very short and have shaved my head before. I get very tired of men's obsession with long hair. They are not the ones taking care of it, so they really don't get to dictate the length of someone else's hair. I'm in no way saying break up with your boyfriend, but in my personal life, I leave those kinds of men behind. Am I the antagonist for laughing at my neighbor and calling them stupid before closing the door on them? I 25 male live in my family's cottage which I was given ownership of. The cottage itself is a waterfront property facing a medium-sized lake. My family has been living here for generations as my great-grandfather originally bought it before passing it down, eventually leading to me. My neighbors are a different story as many of the people I have known since childhood has moved out. The houses that my neighbors once had have been torn down and replaced with designer-style homes. With the construction of these homes came new neighbors and an HOA of which I'm not a member. My problems started with my next door neighbor Sophie, F50, 60, overfishing. One day after doing some canoe fishing I was approached by Sophie on my beach. She started asking if it was legal to fish on the lake, to which I said it was, as long as you pay the $25 per year license. After that, I said that I had to go as I had caught some fish and I wanted to start processing them for dinner as it was getting late. After our conversation, I did not hear from her for over 2 weeks. My encounter with her this time was not in person, but through a letter. In this letter, she wrote about how dangerous fishing is to the environment and why I should stop. In response, I chose to simply chuck it in my recycling bin and ignore her as it wasn't worth my time. My most recent encounter was 2 days ago while I had some friends over. It was in the afternoon when I had ran back into the house for some more beers along with one of my friends. While grabbing the drinks we heard a knock at the door. When I answered the door it was Sophie and she had another letter. Before handing the letter she said that she had tried to be diplomatic and now she has had enough and has a letter from the HOA. Admittedly I was a bit tipsy at the time and in response, I laughed and called her stupid for believing the HOA can do anything before closing the door on her. After sobering up I feel conflicted. On one hand I feel that I was justified in my actions because my fishing is none of her business. On the other hand I feel that I could have dealt with her in a more tactful way. Am I an asshole? Although Sophie's HOA has no power to stop her from entering his property, it is only reasonable to respond in kind if she continues to make baseless threats. In a letter, warn her that you will call the police and have her charged with trespassing if she returns to your property. Comment by team member Taylor. Now for the top comments. NTA. This reminds me of a situation experienced by my friend who lived and worked on a farm that has been in his family multi-generations. Over time, surrounding land got developed into luxury subdivisions, and the new neighbors, who paid top dollar for pastoral homes, fussed and complained about the sounds and smells of the animals on his farm. Reminds me of the time luxury condos were built down the block from a criminal court, with a jail across the street, and people complained about the noise. Really? You didn't check the area before you moved in? Duh. Ambulances and cop cars in and out 24/7. NTA. Your neighbor needs to stop with the letters. Is she a female Fraser Crane? NTA. She's bordering on harassment. Not only that, I'm sure she's lying as the HOA knows you're not a member, which would mean that they can't do anything to do. Not only that, an HOA can't control how often and where you fish. This woman is the reason a vast majority of Americans refuse to live in an area with an HOA. She may not be lying, in that it wouldn't be outside of an HOA's range to go for the power play against someone not in the HOA.